All right, this is late April and serves as an update of what's going on with the spring garden. I'm not done with everything I wanted to do this weekend, but I made some progress, so let's see if I can quickly touch on it. This box is composed of almost all grapevines. This one here is the one that I had cloned over the winter. I've been growing it on the front porch. These are others that my wife picked up. And these two are the seedless grapevines that were a bare root stock last year, overwintered, and they are now starting to develop. I'm happy with those. This box here contains my to-do list. This is the rest of the living stock that I have to find a place for and plant. In this next box up here, the corner is not covered with mulch because that's where the apple trees were laid in while they were waiting for me. These are white spruce that my wife bought because of some need, maybe as a border somewhere. And these are two chestnuts that were given to us by the neighbor. The next box up is another box of spruce. And let me pause. This box here is the one that has, German butterball potatoes growing in it. I did do some digging in there while cleaning up the weeds and discovered that, yes, they are sprouting. Give them a couple of weeks. Considering that I was going to be redoing all these boxes, I went ahead and did something I've been putting off for probably years at this point, and I'm renewing my compost pile. Underneath this tarp is the stuff I'm going to put in after I'm done harvesting this. I've been putting this compost in for all the boxes as I've been working them. Alright, this is the walnut tree that I pruned up over the winter. It looks a lot better than it did last year. I'm going to let it go for another year, and this winter I'll decide if I'm going to cut off one of those two main branches, go with the better of the two, or if I'm going to keep it as a double trunk tree. Decision yet to be made. These are my blackberries. They seem to be doing pretty good this spring. They're coming on rather well. Something that I find interesting, I'll see if I can point it out to you, is here that I've got thorns developing on them. And I don't know if that's because I had a blackberry that died back and grew back from a root that naturally has thorns or not. The neighbor over here does not have thorns, and it's coming along as well. Here beside my garage is the raspberry patch. I trimmed those all back to about 18 inches over the winter. And in some cases, I believe I see the start of some flowers. So these are looking really good. This is a box of all apple trees. I don't have a lot of room, so I actually took a chance of squeezing them in as tight as I did. But I don't have any other place to put them, so 10 to a box is what I got to live with. Next to it here are the red potatoes, like Potomac or something along that line. They're coming up pretty good. I gave them an extra dose of compost after I weeded, and I also gave them some bone meal. In this next box down here, I put in are pawpaws. This is the box where I'm usually growing the wild tomatoes. And I did dig up a lot that I think probably were sprouted tomato plants. But there were so many of them, I wouldn't be surprised if I still have tomatoes growing in this. The next box over, obviously, is yet to be weeded. But this is the fingerlings potatoes. I think they're called Lorata. And I imagine somewhere down in that mess I would find some potatoes sprouting. This next box down is the purple Vikings. And I don't see any signs of them coming up, but they have historically come up after the red potatoes have, so we're still early in the season. This box here is where I was letting my radishes go to seed last year. And I believe down in there, yeah, I can see a couple of radish plants trying to give it a go. I'm not going to be doing the radish this year like I did last, because I need all the room I can get for the rest of those trees that got to go in. The next box down is where I was growing my Brussels sprouts last year, and the cage on top of a cage was intended to try to keep the groundhog out, because the groundhog really likes the broccoli. That was broccoli. This is a box of maybe Yukon Gold or a Kennebec, maybe a Kennebec. It's been so many years since I bought them, I forget which one they are. Now, in this box here, you can see how the walking onions are doing. They're amazing. Now, I did put some giant onions in, and I wanted to try to let those go to seed. And I don't see them doing very well. So, maybe they're a bit finicky. Again, these are younger Egyptian walking onions. And over here were some leeks that I was attempting to let overwinter and go to seed. But they don't seem so well either. So, Egyptian walking onions, great. The other extreme seed alliums that I'm trying to get to go to seed aren't doing so well. This is, of course, corn from last year. And no, I'm not trying to grow grass in this box. This is where I was growing shallots last year, and the two that I left to go to seed for this year seem to be doing rather well. So I'm happy with that, and I'll get rid of the grass. I'm going to need room because my wife bought a lot of alliums. Now here was these are, again, Egyptian walking onions, because I had so many from over there that I wanted to experiment with propagating them to another box. And there you go. These are chestnut trees that they might need another year or so, and then they'll find a new home over on the ridge. Some more chestnut trees, and a plant that I don't know what it's called, but I like it whenever it matures and it covers and makes a nice ground cover. These boxes here will most likely be converted over from what they were doing, corn, to more of the trees. And in this box here, I was also doing corn. And we're just going to have to see by the time I get done putting in all of my wife's acquisitions if I have anything left over for corn or anything like that. This is where I was growing the Red Bull onions last year, and I left 2 of those in to go to seed, and they seem to be coming back. So after I get all these fruit trees in, the next thing is going to have to be putting in the alliums, and let's hope I can catch up with that. This video is long enough. I'll stop it here. Take care.